Today on episode 14, we're going to be discussing American farming and NPK. And when you think of American farming, you never think of global warming, or at least I don't personally think of global warming, but maybe some of you do. And I'm going to put a link in the description about what NPK is and how it started. We're going to discuss it. But it was fascinating to do the research on NPK and to find out the NPK runoff from farming is actually a big part of that algae that ends up in the ocean that removes all the oxygen, creating an environment that fish, coral, and other wildlife cannot survive in. So, in the beginning, how and when did NPK start?
Well, it started many decades ago, but we have to go back even further than that. When the country was very young and people settled primarily on the East Coast, obviously a certain percentage of those people were farmers because somebody had to feed everybody.
Yeah.
And they would stake out a plot of land, a few acres, and they would farm it. And in a few years, depending on the crop, it could be 2 or 3 years, it could be 5 years or longer, it depends on the crop, the soil didn't produce a decent yield of crop anymore. And so, not really knowing why that was, they just up and moved west. So they moved 3 miles to the west and started over again, and leaving behind them a trail of depleted soil. Well, eventually this became somewhat impractical. And so along comes the U.S. Department of Agriculture and says, we're going to have a go at this and we're going to figure out what's wrong. And what they did is they isolated 3 minerals, 3 elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Hence the label NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and the symbol for potassium, of course, is K. So that's where it comes from.
Oh, okay.
And when they remineralized the soils with synthetic nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash, they were able to restore the soil, and not only restore it to the point where it was before, but even increase the yield by basically force growing with nitrogen. And today, whether you're farming or whether you're gardening or whether you're treating your lawn at home, every fertilizer bag has 3 numbers on it. It might be 16, 20, 10. They have many different combinations for different things. Those numbers stand for NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. And unfortunately, the elements are synthetically made, and that creates a domino effect ultimately in the environment. Not when you use it on an acre or 2, but when you use it on tens of millions of acres for 100 years.
Yeah. And so when it first started, my understanding from the research was that they used the natural NPK. And then the reason why they changed to the synthetic was to save money.
Cost and convenience.
Cost and convenience. So a quote from the link I'm going to put below, and you can read this. It says, one of the biggest problems, now this is a big statement here. This is a quote from this environmental history whole report thing you can read in the link below. One of the problems associated with using concentrated soluble nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in agriculture is the uptake by the crop is less than 50%. So farmers before used the natural, and it was a way higher uptake.
Yes, and there were cofactor trace minerals still in the soil, which have all been completely depleted.
So then it was okay, but then they started using this synthetic as far as cost, and then the uptake they found was 50%
Right.
less.
So where does the rest of it go?
Yeah, so then besides the less than 50% uptake, our food doesn't have any nutrients. What are some of the other problems that have developed because of the MPK concept?
Well, first of all,
Malnutrition.
yes, because the goal was to increase yield per acre
That was
of
it.
crops. That's all they cared about.
Yeah.
They didn't care about whether the
If
food
it
was
was
healthy or
nutrition
well
or whatever.
or nutritious, or whether the soil was being depleted of 50 other trace minerals. That was of no concern at the time, and still isn't. Their only goal was to increase yield and hence increase profit per acre. But unfortunately, this has created a long-term domino effect, wherein now all of these micro trace minerals that used to be naturally found in the soil have never been replaced. And because of that, we have a host of problems. Without those trace minerals, vitamins cannot effectively do their job. And we can see the fallout of this quite easily. Yeah. Now, when farmers plant an acre of crop, not only are they getting a greater yield because of NPK, but now they're raising sick and deficient plants. And so the result of plants that are growing in an ill state of health, what happens is that insects naturally know by nature to consume sick plants.
Oh.
They don't consume healthy plants, because that's their job, to get rid of those things. So they come in droves because the plants are not well, because the minerals are not in the soil. And so what do? We spray pesticides and herbicides on the crops to kill the insects, leaving the residual pesticides for you and I to enjoy.
Wow. I'm speechless.
So there's the domino effect. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Wow. I'm going to put this link below about MPK. If you're interested in it, please research it. It's disturbing. I can't believe it. So if you want to do the research yourself and realize how nutrient deficient and mineral deficient our food is in the grocery store,
Yep.
Check it out for yourself.
Well, and I think that the takeaway from this, hopefully, is that you can see there's absolutely no way that you can get these micro trace elements in your food anymore. Therefore, in my opinion, as a chemist, you need to supplement these trace minerals. If you don't do anything else, you need to supplement these micro trace elements, and preferably in colloidal organic form.
And then you can also make the argument then that you must be taking a full spectrum nutrition, whether it's liquid or capsule form, with a complete total 136 vitamins, minerals, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've been teaching that for 40 years or more. Baseline nutrition can make such a difference. Maybe not when you're 20 or 30, but if you do it when you're 20 or 30, you're going to have a much happier life when you're 60.
Yeah. Collagen supplements. You see a lot of people using collagen supplements. You see the advertisements, and I think the reason why a lot of people use collagen supplements is because they have an illusion that it does something to the skin. I don't know what's the illusion is, to smooth it, to make it look healthier.
Yeah, fill it out.
Fill it out, okay.
Because the subcutaneous tissues below the surface of the skin are primarily collagen.
Okay, and so they think by taking a collagen supplement that
they're going to look 20 years younger.
Yeah. So why do they not do everything that they say they do?
Well, first of all, there is probably some benefit to using those supplements. Whether that benefit is worth it or not remains to be discussed. here's the problem. When you consume any protein, collagen is a protein.
Okay.
When you consume any protein, guess what your digestive system does? It does what nature made it to do, and it digests the protein, breaking it down into individual amino acids. So by the time the collagen supplement exits your digestive system, it's been reduced to individual amino acids just like any other protein. Now, there are certain amino acid combinations that perhaps remain and survive the digestive process, and they may produce some slight benefit. The problem is, if you want to maintain a more youthful appearance, you need good quality protein of any kind. You don't need expensive gimmick formulations. Collagen protein, the secret of the fountain of youth. It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. What you do need is good quality protein, and you can get that from all kinds of sources other than expensive pills.
And so what's a better way to make the skin look healthy and youthful? Take a full spectrum supplement, take a good trace mineral. If you're between the age of 25 and 35, maybe taking a good anti-inflammatory, a natural one that has a turmeric and a blend.
Yep. And also keep your skin moisturized. Whether you choose to believe in global warming or not is not for a discussion today. But you cannot argue the fact that this summer so far has been the hottest, driest on record.
So lotion.
Whatever reason, moisturize your skin.
And I think the biggest reason of why collagen is so like the trendy thing to do is because what people believe is that collagen tissue is lost or gets damaged as we age. Are they naively not realizing it's free radical damage, or is it not free radical damage?
Well, free radicals are certainly involved in the destruction of all tissues.
Okay.
But as we age, because we don't absorb protein and we don't metabolize protein as effectively as we did when we were younger, the digestive system just isn't as efficient at its job. And that protein deficiency, along with what we call cross-linkage of skin cells due to free radical damage from radiation, causes the aging process. And because our society is obsessed with youth, we will spend anything, we will do anything if we think it can make us look better. But if you're going to do that, concentrate on good quality protein, keep your skin hydrated, and take antioxidant supplements, which should be included in a good full spectrum product. Oftentimes, in fact, most of the time, they're not, but they should be. And those antioxidants can help slow down the free radical damage and the cross-linkage of the DNA of the cells.
Wow, that's a lot. So, drink water, stay hydrated, moisturize, take full spectrum.
Get adequate amount of protein a day, at least 40 to 50 grams.
Got it. Okay. The food pyramid scam. I saw this video and I brought it up to Dr. Whiting, and he said we should definitely do a video about this. Is there a worst crime in history than the food pyramid? The marketing ploy developed by the Department of Agriculture even went against their own consultants and warned them that it would make people obese and depressed. And lo and behold, we have what we have. How did the food pyramid happen, and what do you think its effects are still today? Well, they're here today.
Yeah. Well, The food pyramid replaced the 4 basic food groups as far as education goes. And the food pyramid turned out to be far worse for human health and well-being than the previous
4 food groups.
Yeah. The reason for that is if you look at a pyramid, obviously the base of the pyramid is the widest. And the top is pointy. So it goes upwards and gets more narrow.
Okay.
Well, the idea behind that is that foods that you should eat more of are at the bottom of the pyramid because that's the big part.
Yeah.
And as you go up the pyramid, foods are put in place because you should be consuming less of them. So at the bottom you find grains.
Yeah.
That's the first problem. So it taught people to make sure that the majority of their diet came from grains. Okay? And originally, that might not have been so detrimental. But now, what do most people consume as grains? Refined white flour, bread, sweets, cakes, pies, pastries, etc. Well, that's the biggest part of the food group. That must be good for me. And then as you climb up the food group, then you get to the vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of problem with that, excepting excessive fruit contains way too much fructose. So you shouldn't be overdoing it. Moderation is the key in the first place. And the food pyramid smacks totally against the concept of moderation. Extreme here and nothing at the top. Now you get towards the top, then it's fats, oils, and so forth. Protein is just below fats. Protein is the most important food we consume, and yet it's almost all the way to the top of the pyramid. And the reason why this was done is because the food industry wanted to brainwash people and to promote the excess consumption of grains and refined flour because it's cheap.
Yeah.
And they can make high amounts of profit.
Then, yeah. Well, now too, but
now too, they can make high amounts of profit. And they also knew something that we all should know by now, is that these refined grains are highly addictive.
Yeah.
What a great marketing idea. We'll create something and we'll brainwash people to consume 60 to 70% of their diet from this crap. And then we'll make this crap addictive so that once we get them hooked, they can't stop.
Yeah.
What a beautiful idea.
So it doesn't even address nutrition at all then?
No. There's virtually nothing in the food pyramid that addresses nutrition because you have to go beyond that to talk about, okay, now we've got grains. Do they contain any nutrients? Well, we talked earlier about the soils being depleted, so they probably don't have the range of nutrients that they should have. We talk about fruits and vegetables. Guess where they're grown? On depleted soils. So do we have the nutrients that we used to have even in fruits and vegetables?
Not even
no. So it wasn't intended to address nutrients, fortunately, because they would have came up with an F+.
Yeah.
It was designed to brainwash people into consuming the majority of their diet from refined grains.
Yeah, so sad. And I'll just leave it on this note. The easiest way to overcome this crime against the American public as a whole is find out if you're carb intolerant or calorie sensitive. And then talk to somebody like Dr. Whiting who can tell you and give you a little guidance that you can go to your physician or your professional with and say, look, if I stick to this diet, I don't have to diet my whole life. I can maintain and I'll get the nutrition that I need. I'll live a healthier life. I'll live longer and I'll live a fuller life once you use the science that goes along with all of your research over 50 years.
That's right. We've helped thousands of people lose tens of thousands of pounds over the years and be able to keep it off. In fact, you're one of them.
Yep.
I don't know, how many years was that ago now? 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost 50, 60 pounds.
60
You've
pounds.
never gained a pound back because you're doing it right.
Yep. Even through everything.
Endless dieting is not necessary. It's only if you have to endlessly diet, then you're doing it wrong.
High Vitality Liquid and High Vitality Capsules are now on Amazon, available right now. You can get them right here. Why is High Vitality so superior to all other supplements?
Well, let's take a look. First of all, it's in liquid form. And liquids have a greater absorption and assimilation rate than any other form of delivery.
And here on Amazon, they have a lot of other liquid products that aren't as complete.
Well, and that's the next step. Our High Vitality Liquid has 136 nutrients. So every category of known nutrients of benefit to the human body is there. 17 vitamins, 3 fatty acids, antioxidants, phytonutrients, amino acids, trace minerals. There are over 50 trace minerals. It is virtually the most complete supplement that's ever been developed.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare to make, by the way.
And this product, this High Vitality Liquid and High Vitality Capsules on Amazon right here, this product can be used for the whole family. Is that correct?
Well, and that's the beauty of it being a liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can measure it out without having to cut pills and open pills and trying to reduce the dosage for younger family members. Essentially, it can be used by anyone by our simple formula. Certainly any child over 8 or 10. Younger than that, we recommend supplements that are made for children.
Yeah.
But if they're 8 or 10, it's a very simple. It's 1 teaspoon of this liquid for every 20 pounds of body weight.
So the whole family can take High Vitality Liquid. And the other thing about High Vitality Liquid is it is the major choice for people over the age of 40. Why do you think that is?
Absorption.
Okay.
They're going to get more out of it. And what did we do to enhance that absorption? First of all, it's a liquid.
Yeah.
Second of all, the pH. Keep in mind that nutrients are absorbed in an acid environment. So the pH of our High Vitality Liquid is about 4.5. It's quite acidic. So when that hits your stomach, the stomach, which is naturally acidic, if it's healthy, is going to really be happy about that. Lastly, ratio. We have worked out the ratio of one nutrient to the other because they can't all be equal. You want to have a supplement wherein the individual nutrients are in the right ratio and potency to others that are present. And then lastly, some nutrients don't get along with other ones, kind of like some families, you know?
Yeah.
And so those nutrients that tend to like to wage war with other ones, we have enteric coated. And that means we put a coating around them so they can't be seen. That way everybody gets along because nobody knows the other one is there. And through the digestive process, that is broken down, but by then it's too late to argue.
And what are some of the other nutrients that most other supplements overlook that make High Vitality so special?
First of all, it's the 50 plus organic-based trace minerals.
Yeah.
I hardly ever see a multi-supplement that contains those. And those are so vitally important. I mean, that could be a discussion for an entire session on why they're important. But for today, trust me, they're the foundation. That's where you should begin, because all other nutrients depend on those trace minerals for absorption and function.
There it is, folks. You can get it right here on Amazon, High Vitality Liquid Multivitamin from Phoenix Nutritionals, or the High Vitality Capsules from Phoenix Nutritionals for even a little extra convenience.
And keep in mind, folks, that the high vitality capsules that he's talking about is virtually the only liquid supplement in capsule form. We found a way to take the liquid, which is the absorption factor, and seal it in a fat-based capsule. So you now can get the benefit of the liquid and the convenience of a capsule, which is ideal for people who vacation and travel and have a busier lifestyle.